Hey, welcome back, Phenomenons. This is Frank. So listen, in this video, we are going to venture out into the world of personas, a really cool feature inside Suno. Now, if you've ever ventured out into the world of creating your own actual album and you wanted some consistency in your tracks, maybe consistent kind of a vibe, music style, vocals, well, personas is the way to go. So over to your right, I've got 9 of my own personas that make up my own library, and I'm going to show you kind of a step-by-step on how to add yours. Now, we are going to start from a brand new script, right? We're going to create a song with that script, and then what we're going to do is we're going to create a persona with all of that. In addition to that, we've got one new persona being created, and then what we're going to do is just going to take that same exact script and we're going to add some personas of my own so that you get a good feel of the variation of what you could do with personas. So with that, let's jump right in and get started. All right, so here we are inside Suno, inside a workspace folder that I'm calling How to Create Neo Soul Hip Hop Personas. Now, that's what we're going to create. Now, in order for you to create a persona, you actually need a song. And in order for you to create a song, you need a script, right? So from top to bottom, I've got a script that we're going to be utilizing for 2 sole purposes here. One, to actually create a song so that we can indeed create a persona. And then I'm also going to use the same exact script where I'm going to apply a different persona already pre-existing inside my actual library. All right. So the first thing I want to do is I want to go right down here, select create. Okay. It's going to create, again, just 2 different variations. Okay. And while that's kind of processing, what I want to do is I want to hop right back over real quick to take a closer look at the actual personas themselves. So let's go to library. In order to access your total personas, just click on library right here, then go all the way to the top and to the right, click on personas, and here's a close-up snapshot of my actual personas, right? And what I've done here to keep consistency is I used kind of an actual template that I created inside Canva and just applied it right in here just to kind of keep a real cool, consistent kind of a look and vibe, okay? Now what I want to do is I want to just kind of go right here, right? I want you to listen to this one here. So anytime I'm working and I'm just kind of thinking of some ideas or kind of just kind of going through some workflow, right? I'll play this one right here. So let me go ahead and click on this. And just as I mentioned earlier, right, you need a song to create a persona. So here's the actual song I used to create this persona. Have a listen. All right, so I'm going to pause it right there. That's a good little bit of sneak peek now. Let me just kind of show you this too at a glance. So once you have your persona created, right, and you want to go in and edit, all you got to do is just click on these 3 dots right here. Okay, you can select the edit. You can also share, and you can also remove. You can just add it to trash, right? The other thing you want to be aware of is this actual toggle switch over on the top right. Now, when you're creating this, you may miss this, right? Kind of depending on if you have a full view of the window when you're creating the persona, and I'll show you that here in just a bit. But if I toggle switch this on, what this is going to do, it's going to feed this out into the Suno world, the community, and they can have access to it, right? It's going to become public for them to actually have access to. And so for this example, I'm going to just turn it right back off for the sake of this actual video, okay? And so those are just some things that you can do to go in here and kind of just play around with it once it's already created inside your Suno library, your personas library. So the next thing I want to do is I want to just show you this one right here at a glance, the emotional kind of a violinist vibes. Now, why I use personas too is not to really create an album. I also use it kind of as a source of inspiration, a level, it kind of upgrades your level of creativity, because you can take an actual existing persona and then you can actually create even like, let's say, for example, this had female lyrics and I created a song with just male lyrics that was stated that inside the actual script, right? When you apply that persona there, you get a really good mixture. It is super cool, all right? And so, again, it's just for a different level of creativity, right, that you can explore, all right? And so let me have you listen to this one right here. Oops, let me go right, yes, let me click on it and have you listen to the actual music. Here we go. All right, so I'm going to stop it right there, right? So you get a good idea of the two different personas here out of like my 9 or 10. All right, so now what we want to do is we want to go ahead and click on create. Now, when you click on create, and if you were in the middle of something, what it does is it takes you back into that workspace folder, and you can continue on exactly where you left off. So again, this is the actual script I was talking about. Now that we have some timestamps down here, everything is done processing. So let's have a listen to the first one. Here we go.
Woke up to empty bottles and a stranger's name. Mirror shows her face is tired of the game. Used to chase the highs in alley neon haze. Now I'm dodging old me in a smoky maze. These streets talk sweet, but they bite when you lean. Every shortcut's just a rerun of the same bad scene.
All right, so I'm going to stop right there. And as you notice, right, as Suno sometimes does, right, they kind of overlook the first kind of lyrics, which was just the another round, another lie. I've had enough. So let's see if the second one picks that up. And here we go.
Another round, another lie, I've had enough. Woke up to empty bottles in a stranger's name. Mirror shows a face that's tired of the game. Used to chase the highs in neon haze. Now I'm dodging old me in a smoky maze. These streets talk sweet, but they bite when you lean. Every shortcut's just a rerun of the same bad scene.
All right, so I'm going to stop it right there. And obviously, I fell in lust with the second one right here. So now to create a persona, right? Let's say we were just in love with this and not so much in lust, right? That's the only time I create personas is if I'm in love with something. All right, so we're going to pretend that we are. So we are going to go right here to the three dots. Click on the three dots. Go up to create. Okay, and then select make persona. Now a window's going to pop up. Now here's the actual song that you're using to create the actual persona. So right down here, you're going to want to enter the actual name. You can name this whatever you want, and I'm going to keep it the same with this neo soul hip hop. Okay, and right down here is the option to just use a prompt in order to create an image, kind of built in here. For this example, I'm going to upload my own image because I want consistency. So here it is right here. I'm going to select open, and it is going to there you go, upload right into here. You can use this little toggle right here to kind of adjust. Okay, I'm going to keep it right here in the middle, right? And then right down here, let's just let's go right here to the name. And for the description, I'm just going to carry over the actual name. Now, right here is what I'm talking about where you'll often miss it. At least I have, right? So this is automatically going to default to public if you don't switch this off. So if you go right here, then there you go. It's a private actual persona, and then you can click on save. Now, another thing, you've got this window right here. When you click on save and it disappears, that means it likely saved. If you click on save and it kind of blinks and the window stays open, chances are it didn't save. All right, so I don't know if that's kind of a browser glitch or if Suno was just glitching one particular day, I don't know. But anyway, just thought I would share that. Now, what we have is personas. So if we go right back over to the library, okay, and I click on personas again, right, here's the newly added persona right in here. Okay, and you can do anything you want to. In addition to that, you can create personas right in here. But since again, I was in the process of kind of just showcasing, right, the actual script and so on and so forth, I just did it from right in here. Now, this is done. All right, let's say that is done. And now let's just say, for example, you know what, maybe I didn't want to create just a script or actually a song from the script, right? Let's say I didn't want to do that. Instead, I wanted to actually use an existing persona. So you've seen a snapshot of my actual library. And if we go right here to styles, this is the original, okay, style for this song right in here that was created. Okay, if I go up to the very top and I select, for example, personas, okay, I'm going to have access to my music library. The brand new one is right in here. Okay, now what I could do is I can go right down here and try maybe this Middle Eastern mix that I was telling you about earlier. So let me go ahead and click on that. What it does is it drags it right into here. Now you have an audio already pre-attached to your actual custom music maker. And if we go right down here, your lyrics are going to stay the same. But again, the music style is going to readjust to that specific persona. All right. And so now if you continue on, you just got to go through here and make the most sense of this. Now, remember the persona had a female vocal. Okay. You can change it to male, right? But if, for example, you want to take this actual script, okay, and you want to create a new song and you want it to sound just like what's already pre-existing in your persona, you want to match it up. As a matter of fact, you want to make sure that you match it up in your actual lyrics and your actual style too. Pretty much this is why your style gets put in here. Okay, so just make sure that whenever you're using a persona that you have a clearly identified vocal style in here, right? Because it's automatically going to plug it in to apply it to this actual script. Okay, that's where a lot of people go wrong. All right, so now the other thing you want to do is keep the integrity, okay, of the actual vocal, right? So what I like to do too is I just like to kind of zoom this up all the way at 100%. Okay, now remember this example had kind of that chant vocals, okay, but I'm going to still try to match it up the best that I can. And then again, you can go here and kind of explore with weirdness. And I find, again, based off of, like I've mentioned in other videos, based off of the actual music genre, right? Weirdness, some music styles you can go high and then some you just cannot. Okay, for this example, I'm going to keep it right here. All right. Now what I want to do is I want to go right down here and I want to just change my actual title here in parentheses. And I just want to put persona, right? And then ME for Middle Eastern, just so that I know that that song was exactly generated with that persona. Okay. And I am now, let me make sure that I picked, yes, I did pick female. I'm going to go ahead and select create. And again, just like everything else, you're going to use 10 credits, and it's going to give you 2 different variations of the actual song. So with that, we don't have to wait for it to complete, right? Once you actually have the thumbnail and the actual little dot here, you can start listening, even though it's still processing. So let's have a listen. Here we go.
Another round, I've had enough. To empty bottles in a stranger's name. Mirror shows a face that's tired of the game. Used to chase the highs in alley neon haze. Now I'm dodging old me in the smoky maze. These streets talk sweet, but they bite when you lean. Every shortcut's just a rerun of the same bad scene. I'm walking past the corners that knew my fall. No more detours, I'm answering my own call. Life's got cracks, but I plant my seed in.
All right, so you get the idea, right? With the actual music generation, I added the persona. The actual vocals sound pretty similar to what we have here. I would say it almost sounds really similar to it. And so let's listen just real quick to this one here, and then we'll try another one. Here we go.
Woke up to empty bottles and a stranger's name. Mirror shows a face that's tired of the game.
All right, so you get the idea, right? Again, it created two different variations, so it was worth listening to, okay? And now the other thing I want to do is I want to go right back up here. I want to remove this actual persona, click on persona again, and then what I want to do is I want to kind of just showcase, let's see here. I may have to change. There you go. Let me remove that there, go back into personas. All right, here we are right here, the violin strings. We're gonna go ahead and click on the title right here. Once we actually click on the title, it carries it in here, okay? Now what we could do is go right down here, and this one doesn't have vocals, right? So it really doesn't matter how we set the vocals, but we do know that in this script, we have lyrics, right? So we have to make a determination of what vocals we want. Now remember, I had the male vocals, and so what we want to do is, what's going to probably sound better is if we just keep it to female vocals, right? 35% on the actual weirdness. Same thing with the audio influence, 100%. We can kind of change. You can mess around with this. Mess around with this, you're going to definitely get different kind of style vibes. As a matter of fact, let's go ahead and click on male vocals, right? Because it may sound very, even though the original had two different variations of the vocals, I want to see how they show up right in here, right? Since we had no intent of adding vocals anyway. So let's go ahead and just select create. Let's go right in here real quick. And I'm just going to put violinist. And I'm going to select create. And what typically happens too, because the violin, right, I call it the violinist, right, you'll probably have some really super fast or super slow music. Either way, anytime that I've done this and I played around with it, either way it sounds really cool. All right, so hopefully it doesn't let me down here. Here we go. Have a listen.
Another round. I've had enough. Woke up to empty bottles and a stranger's name. Mirror shows a face that's tired of the game. Used to chase the highs in alley neon haze. Now I'm dodging old me in a smoky maze.
All right, so you get the idea, right? I would think too, you know, because to the lyric part of it, and actually I didn't go into the details of going in here as far as like the style goes. As a matter of fact, what I want to do is let's go in here and just change it to female and run this. And while we do that real quick, let's go ahead and have a listen on this one here. It should be significantly different when it comes to the vocals, is what has been my own experience. So let's see if that holds true. Here we go.
Another round, another lie. Had it enough. Chase the highs in alley neon haze. Now I'm dodging old me in a smoky maze. These streets talk sweet, but they bite when you lean. Every shortcut's just a rerun of the same bad scene. I'm walking past the corners that knew my fall.
All right, so I'm going to stop right there and kind of listen to this one here. Now, it's always, it always kind of has this kind of Broadway-ish on stage kind of a feel, the vibe, right? And then the male vocals just don't sound as sometimes as magical as like the female vocals inside Suno. And so I struggle with that a little bit, especially when you're creating. This is why, too, when you create something really, really good, as far as like music with really good vocals, it's good to quickly identify the actual persona, right? Apply an actual persona to it. Because a lot of the times, more often than not, I say we have a huge opportunity when creating male vocals. Again, kind of the blame, right, is the actual vocal style inside your music style, right? So here, I'm not identifying a really good, clear vocal style, right? So I could definitely on my end do a better job of actually doing this. If I don't go into details, right, with the actual music style, well then select female, because more often than not, the defaulted kind of auto selection of a female vocal just always comes out a lot better. So let's listen to this one really quick.
Another round, another round. I have had enough. Woke up to empty bottles and a stranger's name. Mirror shows a face that's tired of the game. Used to chase the highs in alley neon haze. Now I'm dodging old me in a smoky maze. These streets talk sweet, but they bite when you leave. Every shortcut's just a rerun of the same bad scene. I'm walking past the corners that knew my fall.
All right, so there you go. This gives you a really good idea of what you could do with personas. Now, one of the things that I utilize personas for is not to create consistency in tracks for a specific album, but pretty much what you just saw me actually do is actually just take the idea, right, the details that you write in the actual script, and add an existing persona. Again, it just kind of keeping that level of consistency when it comes to the actual sound. I like messing around more so like with instrumentals, right? And so especially that orchestrated kind of a vibe, Middle Eastern kind of a feel, you know, I like movie scores and all of that good stuff. So those are just some general ideas. So what are some of yours? Hey, share them down in the comments. Also, if you will do me a favor, if you enjoyed this video, like this video, comment down below, shoot me your question, and also don't forget to subscribe and also hit that bell icon. So anytime I'm in here kind of just messing around, you're the first to know about it. I appreciate your time. Thank you so much. I'm Frank with the Phenomenon. Until next time, have a good one.